This story is about my alter ego, Miss Baker, because I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for 10 years. And this is actually about my first year teaching. And it's not about me lying, it is about me calling someone else a liar, which is worse, by the way. So my first year teaching, I was 23 years old in Boston, and I was working at an alternative high school for immigrant students who had been in the country less than 3 years. And I was the 9th grade humanities teacher, and so my students spoke no English. Luckily, as our host butchered, my name is French, and French is my first language, and I can struggle through a decent amount of Spanish, and so I was confident, ready to go. And this story is about a student whose name is Arnold in American, but in French it's pronounced Arnaud. And it helped that I could speak the same way that his mother did, in a curt French accent, because I was going to spend a lot of my time saying Arnaud's name. Because Arnaud was 6'3" from Cameroon, and he, how do I say, perhaps disliked sitting at his desk. Arnaud had discovered a internet sensation in 2006, and most likely you don't remember it, at least I hope you don't, because it was this odd dance called the chicken noodle soup dance that that he loved. It was his favorite English, and so just like Toaster in the morning, ding, he would just pop out of his seat and start doing the chicken noodle soup dance. It was terrifying. It was awful. Nothing had prepared me. I had very little training. I was 23, he was a foot taller than me, and all I had in my toolbox was to say his name as French as possible. So Arnaud and I developed quite a rhythm every day, and I came up with a lesson plan to have my students write a timeline of their life. And that way I would introduce the present tense and the past tense and maybe the future tense, and it would be all-encompassing and fulfill their need to talk about themselves and delve into their complex histories. I had a lot of high ideals about teaching 10 years ago. And so Arnaud wrote his timeline, and it started in 1995. And I realized I had failed this poor student, because he obviously didn't understand the point of this, because the first year was supposed to be the year you were born. And if he was born in 1995 and this was 2006, that would make him 11. And he was in 9th grade in high school. You might not know the math, it's pretty simple, but you're just supposed to add 5 years to the year to know how old you're supposed to be. So if you're in 9th grade, you add 5, should have been 14. So I felt bad, I had really let him down. I couldn't quite explain to him maybe what was going on. Tried to say, when you were a baby, there's a lot of awkward sign language when you're teaching students who don't speak any English. And he stuck with it, and I figured, you know what, it's fine, we got it. My Ethiopian student educated me. He told me that in Ethiopia, their calendar actually starts 7 years later. They believe that Christ was born in a different year, and so 2006 was going to be their New Year celebration. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was a Cameroonian tradition, and I had somehow been incredibly culturally insensitive. And so on parent-teacher night, his mother came, and she was not 6 feet tall. I didn't understand. She was tiny. And she sat in front of me, very excited to get a report back about her son. And I said, well, he's very energetic, and yes, he's doing his work, but sometimes he likes to make up stories, kind of lies, which is a really awkward thing to say to a parent, but I felt like maybe, she needed to understand what her son was doing every day. And she said, oh really, what did he lie about? And I said, well, he said he was born in 1995. And she said, oh no, that's true. So I had an 11-year-old in my 9th grade class who was 6'3". And he wasn't lying. I called him a liar. So, thank you.